President Obasanjo was the first person who documented his support for local content and local manufacturers. There was a documentation then written by the Secretary of Government then, I think it was Chief citing, and it was circulated around the country. Yes, the VP at that point, Atiku Abubakar, was part of those who were in an event at the Cook Hotel those days to launch one of the local brands at the time. So yes, there was a euphoria about supporting, but like everything government, the intention was there. It was documented. Like people say in Nigeria, we don't need many laws. The laws are there. Just implement them, just follow them. Same thing with the local manufacturing drive. The laws are there. The documentation, the executive order you call it, it's been there since. But the will, those who have been tasked with the responsibility to monitor the adoption, to monitor the, how would I put it now, the application of those regulations, whether they, for whatever reason, they don't follow through. There are a lot of what I might call crimes in Nigeria for which there are no penalties. And if there are no penalties, there's no incentive to, to obey those laws. So today, those same laws are there. They have even been better amplified by what we now know as executive orders, executive order 3, executive order 5. They are all even went as far putting a minimum percentage to government projects, saying that it must be 40% local content. Those laws are there, but they are not being followed. Not being followed. In fact, sometimes those who make the laws are those that are running foul of it. So government themselves who make the laws, sometimes you see them. We have seen situations where government MDAs donate computers for one cause or the other, and they're donating foreign brands. What can be more demotivating to other agencies? So some people will say, okay, why are you guys dependent on government? But government is the facilitator. Government is the biggest spender. You go to America, the biggest computers those days were not used in the private sector. They were used in government because government has the largest amount of data, for example, to start with, to crunch. They have the economy to run. You can't run it manually. You have to run it with technology. So if you don't galvanize demand for anything, whether it is cars, you will know when it was bojo to be bought. If you don't galvanize it with government this thing, you don't want to grow, even though you mouth it that you want the local industry to grow. Look at India today. You know how much they are making from technology? I don't know. I'm not one of those guys who are able to quote statistics, but we all know the amount of money that India is making. They don't have oil. They don't have oil. They're making so much money from it, from technology. All of us are using Indian software, like it or not. I mean, there was a time where we were spending so much on banking software, and all the 3 main banking softwares were from India. If you go and check, you guys who are doing investigative journalism, go and check how much money left this country, probably still leaving this country, back to India for banking software. If our software developers had been encouraged, one way or the other, by now we would have had enough local software that we'll be using to depend on right now. But now even basic softwares are being used, are coming from abroad. So it's just the fact that government who makes these laws, who makes these policies, they themselves don't encourage people to do it. Otherwise, why would government be donating foreign brands? Why would government do a project? Well, in all fairness, there was one project that they did recently, when it was under the Vice President's office, the N-Power project. I'm sure you know about that project. Local content were there, but they didn't see follow their own regulation, right? They did over 200,000, if I'm not mistaken. All the local manufacturers put together didn't go to 10,000 units. They still went, the bulk was still foreign, just because we had no faith in our own local. Meanwhile, even the locals perform better than the foreign brands out there. I mean, all sorts of foreign brands, once it's foreign, they rather do that. All sorts of foreign brands were involved in Empower, for example, but the best brands were local.
Let's return to the issue of local content. Under the Obasanjo regime, you could count a good number of local brands, including better computers. In fact, I'm aware back then that the Minister of Communications during the era of Jonathan, Dr. Mobola Johnson did visit your assembly plant.
Correct.
And
Correct. 2012.
Yes. Virtually all of the brands have virtually gone out of existence.
No,
Which was
no,
responsible?
no. The brands are not out of existence. We were just in comatose. Let me use the word comatose.
Which is responsible.
Lack of patronage. For example, let's talk about the minister. Yes, she came. That was on the heel of a project that she came up with. What's that? Computer for all Nigerians, right? Kani, she met Kani. She came up with her own. And then we all were made to go and get ready. Make sure you have your, we need to get our bare bones from the Far East, of course. We don't have any core manufacturing of these bare bones, We got all ready. That project didn't. It was for students, for education, we went around universities and all that. So all the incentives towards growing the manufacturing sector of the local devices didn't quite see the light of day, because those projects, because of the same resistance, because of the same lack of will. I mean, for example, just like what is happening now with the negotiations, if I'm paying for your school fees and I say I want you to use a Speedstar laptop, you have no reason to tell me you don't want to use Speedstar laptop. I'm paying for it. I'm paying for your education. Why should you tell me that you must use another brand because it's international? There's something that was being passed around social media. I only saw it 2 days ago. I don't know whether it's true or not, but it was something that resonated with our local content scenario. 2 Japanese students, many years ago, they said Gorbachev, when they were in class with 2 Japanese students, they were using a pencil. 2 of them took turns to write using the pencil because they insisted on using Japanese pencils. And it was so low quality. So the board decided that one person will be busy sharpening the pencil while the other one is writing. By the time the other one breaks, they will be exchanging it. And then the Gorbachev asked, why are you doing that? Why don't you just use this other one? They said, no. Yes, it's not the good quality now. In future, it will be good quality. That's the only way to make it better. And when you look at it, I remember many years ago, we are in our 60s now, so we know there was a time when Japanese products were called paya, inferior products. But now, will you touch another, even European products, over a Japanese product? No. It's just a conscious effort to encourage local. If government has sustained that early Obasanjo's this thing, by now, who knows what our brand, the whole of West Africa, even African continent, our brand will be the leading brand there, because Nigeria is up there doing so many big brother things. Why not our brand? The same thing that America and Co are doing now. They want to give you $1, they force you to buy $10 of one American product or one. Now the onslaught is from the Chinese people now, but the will was not there. Yes, it's a pun. That's my name, but the will is not there. If the will is there, even till now, the will is not there. It's just on paper. If you go to some of the offices of those tasked with the fact to maintain or to monitor the implementation of this thing, you will see foreign brands all over there. If you want to use foreign brand, use it in your house. But come out in public where you're supposed to motivate other MDAs to adopt this. You know how much is being lost? Even if it's only in the value chain. Late Mrs. Serity used to talk about the value chain of local content. People just think about the price of buying the product. No, there's a value chain involved. Even if it's just for the guy who does the carton, the guy who does the branding, and the people that we employ in our factories. Even if it's 10 people we're able to employ, just look at it. From that time to now, the number of locally certified manufacturers have not increased. If anything, I can count to 1 or 2 that are there. Is that a testimony to a project or a program that has grown, that has developed? Count when Obasanjo did that, maybe 2003 or thereabout, to now. How many do we have them? The likes of Unitech are not there anymore, right? So, how many have we? How many are we?
What would be the argument for people who argue? What would be your response for people who argue that, okay, if you want to play global, that local manufacturers or local players in the IT industry should not expect government protectionism. That's what they call it. That, oh, okay, if you want to play global, don't expect the Nigerian government to protect you. Go and compete with the foreign brands and try to match up. What would you say to people like that?
I would say they are myopic. They are uninformed. Go to WTO. WTO recognizes the fact that every country has the right to grow their local industry. You cannot leave your local industry. In fact, there's a gentleman in Abuja, Kemabota, you might know him. He talks about, he posts it all the time, how they got WTO to agree on their own same regulations, the fact that government needs to put their money to grow our local industry. So it has nothing to do with not allowing. Nobody is stopping them from selling. But why would you? I mean, I'm sure you know that there was a joke around about putting a bid on another person's daughter's waist or something like that. Why should you spend your money as government on another foreign, on a foreign brand to make other people increase their employment there? Drive you're complaining about foreign exchange. I mean, while you're driving it out, it doesn't make sense. If you cannot do it, that's a different matter. But why will you leave your own? Yes, if you think that it's not of good quality, that is neither here nor there, because there's really no Nigerian processor, right? The Microsoft software is Microsoft software. It's not a Nigerian one. The Intel processor. The motherboard we are using is the same motherboard. We didn't manufacture it in Nigeria. Okay, so what's the point? What's the point? You just, I mean, there was something I just saw before I came for this interview. A Payless. Payless is one of those cheap shoe business, right? They just took the same shoes to another shop, changed the name. The same shoe that was sold at $34, I just saw it, was sold at $642 by the so-called people who are used to high brand name. The same thing, Payless. If I have a chance, I would have played it for you. Same shoes, the same thing we're talking about. Because it is branded Speedster from better computers, you think it's of low quality. Then when that same thing, just change the name and put a Y whatever, it sounds like from Japan or US, you bought it. That experience, they call it the social experience, it just happened. 642, 1,800%, I'm quoting that because I just watched it. So 800% for the same thing. The same people who will not enter a Payless because it is considered a cheap this thing or a maybe use the word local brand. But you rather the same thing, the same shoes, nothing different. Nothing different. They showed another thing that was a couple of months back. I saw that a music played by somebody who is not a known artist. Nobody liked it, and then one popular musician played it. Same music, same beat, same lyrics, and it became something that everybody was praising. It's just a matter of perception. When we had a technical director in NIDA many years ago, Dr. Moses Ubaru, we had a meeting. I told him the challenge we have is perception. It's just a matter of allowing the process to evolve. Just stay on it. A child grows. A child grows. Nobody's quality will remain the same. You have competition. You have 4, 5, 6 of us. If Mr. A's own is not good, you buy Mr. B, and Mr. A will see that his quality is low. He will get his quality up to that of Mr. B, and that's how to do. No matter, you can't get 100% quality. Even that, is it not? You know how many times the international brands have recalled their this thing? I know how many times they've recalled. Even right now, we see rockets that can't go to the moon. They have scratched it about 2-3 times. So there's nothing that is perfect. When government has a project that could incentivize and motivate our productive capacity, why would they not use the opportunity of it? We have been clamoring for aggregation of government requirements in terms of MDAs. Okay, they are standard, normal usage, not even project based. All right, so you have ministry of this, ministry of that. They want this, they want that. If you aggregate it, we'll have a huge number that locals can then be made to manufacture towards, right? Set the standards. We've done that a few times with them, but somehow they don't. That's why I say the will is not there. So this particular case you're talking about, the publication you're talking about, yes, we all bought into it because there's an opportunity now for the population census that is coming up early next year, Nigerian Population Commission, we've heard that they are going foreign. 800,000 devices. You know what that is? 800,000 devices, 40% of that people follow, and mind you, that 40% is a minimum that the executive order 3 and 5 talked about. It's a minimum of 40%, not that it's a cap of 40%. And here is a situation where government wants to spend, I don't know how much that would be, a couple of billions for devices that we local manufacturers can manufacture, can produce. Why would they go foreign? Why? You have your own policy, local content. Why? You have youths all over the place who can, engage in doing manufacturing these things. Why would they go? Of course, I identify with it. Of course, I'm part of Simon. Yes, I identify with that. Why would MPC go foreign? I'm trying not to call the names. Why would they go foreign? Why? You know the same government that is going to fund that? We can't go to even Shell and the oil companies. Government is forcing them to buy local, and they are patronizing local. Then how do you think they will patronize local tomorrow when government in their own projects go foreign? What is the basis? Government is 100% government. All governments are not 100% government. Government has a percentage there. The oil companies still have their majority share. You are forcing them to buy local. You don't want to do local. For what reason? We perform creatively well in the Empower. They can go and look at it. They can ask NIDA. NIDA did all the surveys, or Bank of Industry for that matter, who financed that project. Why are they going for it? Why? As far as I'm concerned, as far as the publication was even saying, it's just, how will I put it now? At the risk of quoting what our president said, it amounts to sabotage of the government policy. Why would the government give an issue an order? The executive order is to be obeyed. It must be 40%. Why would you go against it?